right, let's take some of these specimens, see if we can figure out what colors they are. And we'll need to do this with a test sheet, and we'll make some notes about what we've got in front of us. Here's my palette of colors that we need. We're going to start with the banana. And as you can see, I've mixed all the shadow colors along with the two yellows to see how we can mix these in order to get the true color for this, for these subjects. This is Windsor Violet. This is Ultramarine and Permanent Rose. This is Burnt Sienna. Then you have your Cadmium Yellow Pale, your Windsor Lemon, your Sap Green, and here at the other end is Neutral Tint. This banana is probably pretty close to Cadmium Yellow Pale, so let's see what we get here. This is looking a little light because we want to match the local color as much as we can. All right, so this looks like it's a little too green, interestingly enough, even though Cadmium Yellow Pale is orange bias. So maybe it needs to go a little bit more in that direction. So let's try mixing a little Cadmium Yellow Light with a little Burnt Sienna. That just may be our local color. Now we can thin that out to get a tint for our lighter areas. So let's label this. This group here is Cad Yellow Light plus Burnt Sienna. And this is our banana. Okay, that looks pretty good, so we know where we're going to go with that. Let's take a look at our pepper. All right. Do we want to consider the sepia and the burnt sienna again? Maybe a little richer, a little bit more burnt sienna. And that looks pretty good. Now you're going to have some green areas in here. So you may want to mix a little Cadmium Yellow Pale with a little bit of lemon yellow. Let's try just a little bit of Windsor Violet and see what kind of a shadow color we get. It looks like it's too brown, doesn't it? So maybe add a little bit more Burnt Sienna. So this shadow color here is Cad Yellow Pale, Burnt Sienna, and we're going to have a little bit of Windsor Violet. So that's kind of how you go about testing these. Let's look at this squash here, which seems to have very green looking shadows. So this may be the way to go. First of all, I think this is probably almost pure lemon yellow. And what happens if we put some green into it? And I think, rather than, well, let's try the violet, but I think it might get a little muddy. And let's try a little bit of neutral tint instead. We're going to have a little lemon, Windsor Lemon, a little bit of Sap Green, and a little bit of neutral tint. And that just might work for our shadow color. So this is the way you have to work in order to find the color that you need for your particular specimen. All right, so this is a summer squash, and this is our shadow color, and this is going to be Windsor lemon and sap green and neutral tint. By adding the Windsor violet, this got a little too brown to me. I think we want to stay in the green range with this particular subject. It seems to want to have a green shadow. So this is how you determine whether or not something's going to work or not work, just by doing these little color tests.